You're proposing to have this referendum on April the 19th, I believe.
Say that again.
You're proposing to have this referendum on April the 19th?
Correct.
I don't know.
Now, we're having a referendum 21 days after this.
I'm not getting into the referendum of it.
Look, I'm asking the question,
Well, what are you asking?
what's the urgency?
I didn't decide what the dates were.
Well, then Mr. Farmer can perhaps answer that question.
Again, I'm just representing the projects.
Okay.
Your argument as to what the thing is, you need to go back to the Board of Selectmen.
Why do we need two referendums,
I don't,
19 days apart?
For Bruce, not for you.
I think I'm not getting into it.
That's number one.
We're not here to decide that.
Yes, we have to decide whether the projects are going to move forward or not.
Excuse me?
How the referendum is done.
I mean, I think that we can say that we're not going to do
Yeah,
this
you can.
in that time frame.
Sure, you can. You can, absolutely.
Kirk's question is, we have a referendum, whatever, April something.
May 10th and
And 21
8th.
days later, we have the, other one. 2 years ago, which we call it budget, last year, 2 years ago, the budget went down, but the, went through.
Same day.
Same day. The appropriations went through. That's what Kirk is saying right there. Am I right?
Right, well, I mean, not only is there a cost attached to doing two referendums, but you're also inconveniencing the public, who has to come out 2 days to vote instead of 1 day. And I think you'll get more participation if you do it all together. And I think to the public, I think the PR on this, of doing it this close to each other, is very bad. I just think it's a very, I mean, I couldn't defend it if somebody asked me.
Well, we're having a public information meeting first, and then a
You
town
mean a public
meeting.
hearing?
No, public
No,
information.
public information meeting, where we explain to the public whatever it is they want to know about the project.
What's the
And
difference?
then we have a town meeting. At the end of that town meeting goes to referendum, and then on the 19th, we have the referendum.
So the meeting, the public meeting, isn't gonna have any impact on what the date of the vote's gonna be, correct?
No.
Right.
So, I mean, that's, doesn't matter.
Doug, Lear, and Laura, what are your...
The point is, we wanted to give enough time to explain to people what this is all about. Come in, ask their questions, make them feel as comfortable with it as they can.
No, you're correct. The public town meeting you have to set the referendum date before you have the town meeting.
I mean, there's nothing keeping you from having this public information meeting and combining these two referendums on one date that I can see. And I guess the question is can we basically agree to some of this but disagree to the timing? I don't know what we have authority to do. Do we have to say no to this? Or I don't know what we can do, but I
We
think...
don't set the dates, the selectmen set the dates. The administration sets the
I'll
dates.
tell you what the old...
By the charter, I mean, there's a charter that we have to live
I
by,
don't have the right to set the date, but you just vote the appropriation now. I mean,
that we could do.
that you can do. But how the referendum, when I was chairman of the Board of Finance, how the referendum was run was up to the town administration, the Board of Selectmen.
Well, it is.
But if you didn't agree with it, we just vote the money down.
The other thing is your predecessor promised us that he would not do more omnibus bonding appropriations, Mr. Fritz, and he stuck to that until he was defeated. And you're not obligated to do what he promised to do. But I personally think that you have a better chance of getting some of this through if you break it into pieces. And that way, at least you know which ones are not close. But you could have the whole thing go down, and we're back to square one. I would much rather see this broken into pieces for a number of reasons. One is so we could have people say, yes, I want this, no, I don't want that. But the second thing is and I know Mr. Farmer promises that he's not going to move money between projects, but there is an election in November, and there's no guarantee that he'll win, and there's no guarantee that his successor would abide by that. And when you put these into an omnibus package, there is room for money being moved between these. And you say you'll come back and talk to us, but A, you may not be there to come back and talk to us. And so, I would like to see this broken down into not to exceed into probably 5 or 6 pieces. And I would like to give the voting public an opportunity to vote up or down any of those individual amounts. And if we find that there's something that's close but loses, you can always come back as you did with the roads back. You lost the road, I think, 4.2 million in December of 2014 and came back in May of 2015 and passed something that was close, but then you didn't come back on the turf field. The turf field was clearly not a popular proposal. But you put something in here that's not popular, we don't know what that might be, and the whole thing goes down because that one thing, is basically unpopular, and you lose some things that are really important. So I think for PR purposes, I would recommend that you do two things, and that is to hold a referendum on May the 10th or the other referendum, and to break these out into not to exceed amounts for each of the sub-amounts.
Thank you. Your opinion?
My opinion is that Kirk is totally wrong, as usual. A bonding package is very expensive to take public. Every time you start to break it down, you're doubling your costs.
Correct.
And how many times do we want to spend money to take out the same issue? I mean, these are necessary items that have to be paid for by the town of Clinton. Get the bonding done as fast as possible before the next 3 rate increases occur this year.
Correct. John?
Well, based on hearing, there's a couple issues here. One is there was an issue about surplus monies being used elsewhere. Can't we somehow or another, as a Board of Finance, we can mandate that without separating it?
That's what Bruce just said.
Mandate what?
Well, here's the deal. I don't think, the problem you have is I'm working off of estimates, and in the best world, we'll be fine. But as life deals this, we may not be fine. So you're gonna have to group them in a manner that you have the ability to move some money back and forth in case. My pledge as Director of Public Works is to come back to the Board of Selectmen and come back, which I've done on the other side, by the way. And we didn't exceed any of the line items.
But the question is, you have 3 bridges here. We're not going to end up with 2 bridges being done for that total amount of the 3.
You don't have any choices on the bridges.
Those are federal and state mandates.
You don't have any, you either do them or close them.
Right.
Those are already deficient.
Are you listening? They're all way deficient by years
Well,
and years.
nobody
problem
used the word deficient.
No,
until I
they're
just
deficient,
used it.
that's why they're here.
I just used the word deficient. I never heard it.
Okay,
Now we're talking about deficient, right?
yeah.
That's different. Because I know I had not heard the word deficient.
I said the bridges inspected by Connecticut DOT on a 2-year cycle based upon those reports, all 3 bridges are in need of replacement.
Are they declared deficient?
Yeah.
Yes,
They
they were
replacement.
either in 2004 or 2010.
We're actually a little behind on it, to be honest with you. I mean,
Well,
we worked the,
I don't really have a problem. My problem is with 5. And there's too many unanswered questions there.
but I don't
So
disagree with you.
so my problem with it is we expected and we asked for a full explanation, presentation to this board. We never got it.
Okay, let me tell you from my perspective. My perspective is, I was asked to put together the water main project. I was asked to budget. I've gone through an extensive amount of work to make sure it qualifies for the low interest loan. I spent hours and hours on paperwork. I have sat at WPCC maybe one night with Bruce, and then I don't know what to tell you about that. All I can tell you is you gotta do one or the other. That's what the consent order says.
It sounds like a public safety concern. They
So,
And either way, we have to fund it.
have- well,
But
so the deal
the
is,
statement was said here
let me
that
finish.
they're not failing,
Let
the
me
systems
finish.
are not
No,
failing.
it's not based on that.
It's based on something that has nothing to do with the
No,
septic or
it's
sewers.
based on 2 things.
It's nothing to do with sewers, right?
No, it has to do with
it
sewers.
has to do with.
You
Well, if the
can't,
sewer isn't failing.
they are, the wells are. So you leave the wells on the property, you have to do something about the septic.
Okay.
I'm just, stop and let me finish. So what the original concept was to run sewers up there, so that the wells would still be able to be used on the property.
Correct.
To run the sewers up there, you can add a significant amount of money to this, because you have to run force main somewhere else, you have to pump it, you have to treat it, you have to take it off-site, and you have to do it. So, my bad. I asked for a cost analysis between running water and running sewers. The difference is $2+ million less to run water. The Department of Health or whatever, whoever, DEEP, who's running that consent order for the town, has agreed to allow this to be, instead of sewers, to public water. You take public water up there, you no longer have to deal with the wells that are contaminated on site. It allows you room on the property to repair
I
on site.
understand. I understand.
Okay, so that's the deal.
I'm
Now,
gonna-
you
I'm gonna
want to
ask
go
another
back,
question.
you want to go back and that, I don't know the, I'm just telling you what I know.
What I asked the question was about the failing septic systems, and someone said, I think you did, that there's only one or two that are failing.
Yeah, but
Somebody
you
did
can't,
that.
but you can't repair them, so you have to run sewers.
Okay, so but what I'm saying is, we're running all this
And
up.
it's not just rocky ledges.
Again, $5 million for two septic, I'll buy the house is cheaper.
Well, but then you can't, that's not, no, it isn't cheaper. I already figured that out.
I looked at wood on the market for
Yeah, but it's not two
$110,000.
houses. It's not two houses. There's Happy Acres Road, it's Woodland Drive, it's Rocky Ledge.
It's
It's
126
126
houses.
houses.
How many, but how many systems are failing?
No, we have more than contaminated
The
wells.
lots
in there.
are
Okay,
too
but-
small, so
but
the septic.
I understand. I understand.
So they're,
Well, I
they
don't
don't
understand
what
have
anybody to do
drinking
about
water.
Okay.
I understand
Let's
the
take-
permitting to fix it, but if you don't, here's the question again. So we run a main up, how many septics are gonna be repaired?
He can't tell you
I
that.
can't tell you that. How am I supposed to
Then
tell
we're
you?
coming down to, what is, let me ask this question. What is contaminating the well?
Septic.
Okay. So now what I have is I have
The
septic.
septic is adequate for the system.
By the way, the septic is also contaminating the soil and the land and the
It
lots.
does that everywhere.
But now here's the problem. So what we've done is we run a main up, we're gonna pay for the connection, and they're still not gonna have to fix the septic.
Well, they don't have to fix it.
Well, why don't we ought to do that, throw that in here too.
You know, I was licensed by the state to do septic systems. All septic systems pollute land, and pollute ground, and pollute groundwater.
they filter.
All of them. So the problem
I'm
is
making
you
a
have to
motion.
have.
I'm making a motion.
I'm tired, let me finish.
Okay.
You have to have a certain distance between your septic.
I understand, it's all our feet.
So because the well contaminated, doesn't mean that the septic system has failed. End of discussion.
Okay, motion,
So
I
I'm
make
just
a
telling
motion
you.
that the appropriation and bond authorization for $11,935 for various capital improvement projects be approved.
we have a second, do we have any more discussion?
Well, I stand by my position, this is extremely bad PR. I predict that the whole thing will fail if it's presented this way. And I'll certainly work as hard as I can against it.
Okay, all in...
I make a motion to
I
buy
appreciate
number
you.
5.
Okay.
We get a second.
Motion's on the table.
So I'm amending the motion.
We don't have a second, do we have a second on the amended motion?
That's the amended motion.
I want to remove 5.
I'll move to amend 5.
Okay, move it. All,
Right, he wants to amend and remove.
Haven't got a decent explanation.
okay, all in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed.
Nay, so 3 to 3, it doesn't go through. Okay, all in favor of the first motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. This bond package is important.
It's real important, you can't kick it down the road.
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna,
You opposed?
Aye.
we're going to abstain.
Abstain, okay.
So 3 of us
Five,
abstaining.
one
We
abstain.
have 4 for,
Too long,
1
man.
against and 1 abstain.
Okay.
Too long, baby, for what you're doing. We need to go to water pollution control.
They were supposed to come here.
But I'm not water pollution control.
They sent you.
They didn't send, not send that, before the selectmen sent it.
Can I ask, I have
Through the chair, I just want to get this straight because I've asked for them to come here. You were sent here to do,
No, I was asked by the board of selectmen.
okay, to represent what I
No,
discussed.
no, I was asked by the board of selectmen, will you, let me finish, okay? I have nothing to do with water pollution control. Not a blessed thing. I've been to one of their meetings in the last 5 years. The Water Pollution Control proposed the water main system to the Board of Selectmen. I was asked to go out and budget for it, and that's what I've done. I only know what I know by what I was told.
And I asked
I
a series
don't
of
represent
questions.
the Water Pollution Control one iota. I represent the Board of Selectmen.
And I haven't
So
gotten an
if you're-
answer. I posed
but
5
that's
questions,
not-
I've got an answer.
Well, but then,
we're going to move on, we'll go to a WPC.
well, no, I'd like to finish the discussion, thank you. I'm a little tired of this.
Go then, but discussion.
All right, you need to go to them. And you need to sit in front of them and ask them the very questions you're asking me. Because they are the people that have made this decision, that have promoted the water main, they have all the background information, they've done all the research on
And
it,
it's been blessed by the.
and it's been blessed by DEEP. You may not agree
Well,
with it.
I've said it again, I think DEEP, I think they're being used by DEEP, I think we're supporting consultants, they're manipulating things, and there's other towns that haven't had to do this. I've asked a series of questions.
Safer has to do it. You know, that's what they do.
What's safe, where's safer putting them in?
They're, right now, they're gonna have to do it.
Says
They've done everywhere that
They haven't done it,
they
right?
haven't done it, but they have to do it now.
And what are they gonna do there?
They're gonna have to do a treatment plan.
And it's gonna be.
They have no choice.
We'll see.
It's paid by the citizens. Okay, Janet.
Moving on.
Janet, your report.
After much discussion, we are probably going to pull the water main project for Rocky Ledge out of this bonding appropriation process for this year. A number of issues came up during the Board of Finance meeting, which some of us talked about for quite some time, which we thought in the end were quite valid. Discussed by you and Mr. Olson. And we believe the prudent thing is to move forward on the bonding package without that, because there are a number of things that the WPCC has to finalize, because as we sit here tonight, we can't answer a number of those critical questions with respect to who pays for what, basically, whether it's sewer avoidance on the properties, each individual septic system, or costs relative to the actual hookup of public water to the homes in that area. So that's going to change the dates. We're thinking at this point that the date of the budget referendum will probably be the same date that we will use for the bonding referendum. So I just want to get that out there before.
Thank you, good move.
Sure.
The new resolutions will go back to both of
What's that?
those. The new resolutions will have to be approved at each of the boards again.
Right, so.
Is there any time problem?
Is there a what?
Is there any time problem with?
Not since we're pushing out
Okay.
this bonding referendum to the same time frame in May as the other. So we'll have plenty of time to do it at regular meetings. We won't even have to hold special meetings for those. Okay? Is there anything else we need to cover?